If you thought our current team comps were crazy, just wait until you see what's coming next, because we need to talk about the future of Wuthering Waves, and it is going to absolutely blow your mind. Hear me out, guys. We have been waiting, we have been saving our astrites, and the drought is finally coming to an end. We now have an incredibly solid picture of what the massive second-year anniversary character is going to bring to the table. In this video, we are going completely under the hood. We are talking about her exact release date, her weapon, her element, and her role. I know some of you have been desperately waiting for this specific element to drop, and Kuro Games is holding absolutely nothing back for this second anniversary celebration. We are going to go over her design, the wild gameplay speculation, and why her kit is about to change how we play the game. Grab a snack, get comfortable, and let's break this down together. Oh, and real quick, I am currently running a huge Lunite subscription giveaway for you guys. If you want to start stocking up those astrites early for Hiyuki, all the full details are given below in the description, so make sure to check that out and get your entry in. Okay, picture this. As we inch closer and closer to the anniversary patch, the floodgates on the leaks are starting to open up. We finally have a name for the absolute powerhouse headlining this celebration, Hiyuki. For everyone who prioritizes aesthetics and drip just as much as raw damage numbers, you are going to love this. Hiyuki is described as having pristine white hair tied up in a high ponytail. We all know the unwritten rule of action RPGs: if a character has white hair and a sword, they are automatically going to be top tier. Some players in the community are already comparing her vibe to Alpha from Punishing, Grey Raven. Now, if you haven't played PGR, just imagine the ultimate storm of lightning-fast, aggressive slashes. That is the pedigree of design we are dealing with here. She is confirmed to be wielding a sword as her main weapon, which just fits that high-speed, high-skill aesthetic perfectly. But the sword isn't even the craziest part of her visual design or her gameplay. Let's talk about the mechanic that is going to make her the ultimate wildcard for your account. Here is the absolute biggest drop of the entire leak. Hiyuki is going to be a dual-form character. That's right. She isn't just bringing one moveset to the field, she is bringing two. Let's talk about why this matters and why it totally flips how we usually build our teams. When a character has a dual form, it provides an insane amount of role compression. They basically do the job of two characters at once. You aren't just getting a simple stance change. Dual form characters historically come with completely different attack sets, entirely new abilities, and sometimes they introduce a brand new combat mechanic to the entire game. If this turns out to be exactly as leaked, it immediately makes Hiyuki one of the most mechanically rich and interesting characters we've ever seen. It seems like Kuro Games has a tradition of saving these massive, complex transformation mechanics for their biggest milestones. Think back to last year for the first-year anniversary, we got Zany, who was also a massive transforming character that shifted the entire meta. It looks like they are honoring that tradition and following a very similar path for year 2. You essentially get double the value, double the animations, and double the fun. The skill ceiling on a character that can seamlessly swap between two completely different combat states is going to be incredibly high, making her a ridiculously fun unit to master. Now, let's talk about the element, because this is where the theory crafting gets incredibly spicy. The new info states that Hiyuki is expected to drop as a Glacio main DPS. I need you to pause and realize how massive this is. The Glacio element is still incredibly rare in the premium roster. Think about it, when was the last time we got a premium 5-star Glacio carry? It was all the way back in version 2 when Carlo dropped. It has been over a whole year since we had a new Glacio 5-star character added to the game. Last year, we barely saw any Glacio characters release at all. Our accounts have been absolutely starving for a modern, top-tier Glacio main DPS. If she ends up doing the massive damage we expect, her pull value on launch is going to be astronomical. She is already looking like the most high-value pull of the year. But it's not just about her hitting hard, it's about how she interacts with the game's systems. Back in patch 2.8, the devs completely revamped all the negative status effects. For Glacio specifically, certain attacks now apply a stackable Glacio effect on enemies. This debuff can stack all the way up to 10 times, and the higher the stacks go, the harder your damage scales. The kicker? Once you hit max stacks, you freeze the target entirely, which rips open a massive window for uncontested burst damage. Because of how this stacking system works, this directly buffs other characters on your roster. If Hiyuki is built around triggering these Glacio negative statuses, Chisa is going to gain an insane amount of value in this upcoming update. Chisa could literally become your new best friend and the ultimate wingman for this team composition. If we are looking at early team setups, you slot Hiyuki in as your hyper carry main DPS. Then you need a sub DPS. Right now, it's a bit tough to perfectly pinpoint the sub DPS until we know if Hiyuki scales harder off basic attacks or heavy attacks, but a Glacio sub DPS is looking incredibly likely. Finally, you round out the team with a healer or buffer to keep the rotations smooth. Right now, every sign points to Hiyuki being a phenomenally strong contender for the absolute best premium character in the entire game. So, how is she actually going to play? We have a small, unconfirmed hint about her combat loop that has me really excited. The leaks suggest she features a sword wave attack. Remember how I mentioned that dual form mechanic earlier? The current speculation is that during her second form, she completely changes her engagement distance. She might gain long-range attacks, massive range sword slashes, and wide area of effect AoE abilities. This tells us a lot about her playstyle. Instead of being a sustained DPS who stays on the field forever just chipping away at a boss's health bar, she is likely going to be a burst-oriented damage dealer. Think about it like this. She builds up her resources, enters that second form, and just dumps an absolute nuke of damage in a very tight burst window. Honestly, making her a Glacio burst damage dealer might be the smartest design move Kuro could have made. It perfectly synergizes with that 1-0 stack freeze mechanic we just talked about. You build up the stacks, freeze the enemy so they can't move, and then immediately transform into her second form to unleash those massive sword waves while the boss is completely helpless. The damage ceiling just went through the roof. It is going to be incredibly satisfying to pull off. Alright, so the hype is real, but when can we actually get our hands on her? Let's look at the calendar and your astrites. The second-year anniversary is slated to happen right after the version 3.2 update wraps up. That pushes the anniversary directly into the 3.3 update. Phase 1 of version 3.3 is expected to drop right around the end of April, specifically targeting April 29th. Since Wuthering Waves originally launched in May, it makes perfect sense that the massive anniversary patches will always hover right around that late April to May timeframe. Just like they did last year, patch 3.3 is going to be the massive celebratory patch featuring 2 brand new 5-star characters, with Hiyuki serving as the absolute headliner. But here's a pro tip for you guys. We are about to enter the 3.2 version update really soon. Kuro has a habit of teasing upcoming major characters inside the actual game, at least 1 or 2 patches before they become playable on a banner. They did the exact same thing with the 3 characters we literally saw them walking around in the game before we could ever pull for them. This means you need to keep your eyes peeled during the upcoming 3.2 update quests. We should be seeing brand new appearances and teasers for the 2 upcoming 5 stars, and it is highly, highly likely that one of those appearances will be our first official in-game look at Hiyuki. So, lock in, do your dailies, push the story, and start saving those pulls right now. To wrap it all up, the version 3.3 anniversary is shaping up to be legendary. A Glacio sword character is exactly what the meta needed, and slapping a dual form main DPS mechanic on top of it is just the icing on the cake. They always go absolutely crazy with the animations and kits for dual form units, so expectations are sky high for year 2. This covers all the fresh leaks and banner reveals we have for Hiyuki today. But now I want to hear from you guys. Which leaked aspect of her kit are you most excited about? Who are you planning to pair her with if you manage to pull her? And overall, what are you hoping to see in terms of fresh content for the 2nd-year anniversary of Wuthering Waves? Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to read your team ideas. If you enjoyed the video and found this breakdown helpful, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of the upcoming leak coverage. And seriously, do not forget to enter the Battle Pass giveaway. All the rules are down in the description. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.